All right, all right. New time, new place, new energy. Well, not new place. We're in the same place. The X space.
All right. Can you
Hear me
hear
all
me?
right, buddy? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. This is good
Sound
stuff,
check.
man.
Yeah,
Sound
sound
check,
check,
right?
check.
One, two, three. Sound check.
Mmm,
Are you
good
eating?
to. No, I was just taking a drink. I've been rushing
Oh,
around
I
today.
thought you were going to offer me something here. Come on now.
I do have some kind words for you, though. Congrats on being nominated for some of the, I forget exactly what it was, but you were nominated for having one of the influential accounts in this space, right?
I know. Weird, right? I didn't think I was going to make the list, but hey, check it out. I was.
You know, there is
Yeah.
there's a rhyme to reason here. Your name, firstly, your name isn't Ben or Sam, so you have an advantage here.
Well, Ben Armstrong is on that ballot for some things as well, but yeah, I can't compete. He's not allowed to compete in my category because his channel is just taking off because all of the other people are following him back. So I don't have that competition, which is good. Which is good.
Good.
But
I was
ultimately,
hoping.
I'll be honest. Like, it's not about winning, right? Like, I actually love this space, and like a lot of the people that I'm going, head to head against, they're just really good people, and it's exciting to be part of like the whole micro influencer is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing in this space is when you have good people creating content and just sharing out, hey, this is happening in this space, this is also happening in this space. I've been pushing Adam, who's the guy who runs this thing in the background, to put the DGen boy on that ballot, but he's not about that. He refuses, like, no, I'm going to stay in the shadows, I'm not going to go in there. And you and I know who that is. So a lot
Yeah.
of times in this space, the people who are doing the most, they are unsung heroes. So like, I appreciate the nomination, but at the end of the day, like, I am just a bleep on the radar.
Hey, man, but it's good to get recognized because that means like other people outside, they validate what you're doing. They can see, you put a lot of effort in, you're legit, you're wholesome, you give good content. I mean, so hats off to you, buddy. Like you deserve it. And I guess that's why we enjoy like working together and doing these spaces together because, like you're a good dude. So it's good to have you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's going to be fun. If I do win, I get a little belt. That's really the highlight of this thing. I get a little like a wrestling belt, with Action Crypto on it, which would be awesome. Yeah. So, and I'm headed out to Vegas in a week now, so it's going to be on the 14th and 15th for some events happening over there with karate. Like, it's like karate combat. It's not really karate. It's like almost MMA style. And also
I did
George.
see that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good time. That should be fun, and that's where the awards are taking place. So I'm like, oh, I guess I got to be part of this thing.
Yeah. Well, I swear, Crypto George, is that Cryptos R Us? Is that the
Yeah,
guy?
that's Cryptos are us. Yep.
Oh man, I wonder if he hops into our space today. Funny, someone shared me a clip like literally today, and someone mentioned Mask in one of his live streams. He tried to look it up, tried to go to the website, and for some reason the website wouldn't load. And I was like, no.
No.
And it wasn't, honestly, I looked at all of our auditing, for the hosting. I'm like, okay, both websites were fine. There was no like outages. Like what happened? So I don't know what site he went
Interesting.
on to. So if you're listening,
Interesting.
Cryptos R Us, George, just try both our websites, buddy, mask with the Q.ai or maskbrowser.com. Some of the trackers, they don't necessarily have both sites on there or our newest site, which is the
Hmm.
browser one. So, hey, man, if you hear this, please try the website again.
All right.
But
So I'll make
yeah,
sure to feed that in the back end because I don't talk to George directly very often, but the people that work for George are the ones who I talk to the most. So like, the reason I'm going is because I got like a DM going, you better be here. We're going to put this event on. I better see your face in here. I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. So I'll make sure that they have the info on Mask so that George can check it out.
Yeah, I mean, he might like what we do. Like if he, I think it was a shout out, a community shout out that brought his eyes to it on the stream. But yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Someone said, oh yeah, you were mentioned here, and then I watched it. I'm like, oh, he couldn't even get to the website. I don't know what happened. It was a very short clip.
Well, you
Hopefully,
just
he
brought up
still
a
found
really good
some
point,
info.
though. Like, that is everything. Like, ultimately, the community has way more power than a lot of them sell. I mean, they realize like that right there, like, that's thousands of eyeballs. Like, if George is looking at Mask, in front of all the people that he's streaming, that's thousands live and even more posts. So, yeah, you got to give our community some credit because they definitely are doing the hard work of getting out there and talking to people and telling people about what Mask is doing. So, I appreciate you all. If I haven't said it before, which I'm sure I'm going to try to do over and over again, I really do appreciate this community. It's a bunch of good people trying to share the word of Mask and what we're doing out here.
Oh yeah, I second that. Second that super intensely. Yeah, community's made us where we've become. Where we've gotten to, helped us along the way. We had a lot of believers early on that were sort of our core, and they're still around. Like that we call them some of the OGs. They even have a special place in the Discord where I try and filter in, what's going on and give them a heads up on things. Just because I respect all of their support. But it's definitely, it is spreading organically. We have a lot of people mentioning us. We're appearing in different channels, places I never really expected. And then like this one, with that channel, Cryptos R Us, like someone just posted a link, said, oh, you were mentioned on here, and, shared the clip. It was super cool. So I know we always appeal for that. Hey, guys, girls in the crowd, in the community, mention us, like share the love for the browser, like tell everyone to try it. It helps us grow, but you guys and girls are definitely doing that because we're getting our name out there. So, of course, we got a lot of things we're going to support with that too, and a few things I might mention about that today. So it's really cool to see. Super cool.
Wait, what are you mentioning? Like, are we already kicking it off? You're dropping alpha within the first few minutes?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's almost like, is it alpha now? Like if people can go and seek it publicly, is it like still hidden? I guess it is, right? Because these spaces are starting to grow, but I think they're still relatively under listened to, I would say. So
I
people
agree.
listening, they should pretty much
Definitely.
listen every
Yeah,
week, right?
they're under advertised. They're under attended. That's the word I was looking for.
Underappreciated, under listened. It's
There
probably
you
not
go.
even a word. Mm. But I'm just trying to keep up with the pace. So I guess I could share a little bit. The reason I was a little late today, we started our space a little later. I've had a lot of meetings. I know I've been saying this recently, but they're heating up. These meetings with some very top level names of infrastructure in the space, decentralized projects, places, projects that really they've got a history. These aren't like, okay, 1 year old, 2 year old. These are mature projects that we want to have long-term partnerships with, so it doesn't happen overnight. But I had some, very extensive meetings with some. So if you guys and girls are interested in seeing what, some of the developments in this area, there's probably going to be a mention of it on Friday, PST, on one of the projects we work with. And we're releasing, our goal is to release very soon, if not in the next few days, another version, which is kind of new for us to release 2 version updates for the browser back to back, or very close together. This one does have an important update for the core framework for the browser, but also it's got this partner featuring
It's
more
like
predominantly.
yeah, I was about to ask, why would you do such a thing? Like, why would you need to do that?
Yeah, well, there's 2 reasons. Well, 2 big reasons. One, I made a commitment to this partner to deepen that relationship and have us showcase them in a more tighter integration. So it's kind of stealth launched in this version, so you might want to check the changelog and stuff to get a hint of it. But then they are on the back of that, they're going to tell everyone in their community about us having that in place. And of course, there's an important upgrade. We did already have the upgrade in this version everyone's on for that browser security update, which, we're trying to keep very, very close up to date on that. So there's no vulnerabilities across the browser space. But also this has got like just a couple other core upgrades with Electron. That's what we built this in. For those who are techie, we've deployed this browser in Electron. So we want to keep up to date with all the Electron, not only function features and stuff, but also their security patches and things. So we pushed that out together. So yeah, that'll be coming soon, and still lots of work going on in the background.
That wasn't a hint, right? When you said a deepen, it wasn't a deepen hint.
Oh, I wasn't that good with the pun. No, that was
okay. All right.
Probably not that. But that
because I'm over here trying to read between the lines every time,
Yeah. Well, for those who aren't familiar, like, do you want to recap what DPIN, like maybe give your perspective? What's DPIN for the people around maybe hearing that for the first time?
So DPIN is essentially what we are building here as well, because it's all about decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Ultimately you don't need to have any, hardware from Mask. But Mask is a DPIN network because it does have that physical infrastructure. You're running it on some type of hardware. We're not, out to make money from people and say, hey, you got to buy our stuff. But it is running on physical hardware. So DPIN is at the heart of, it's become a really big buzzword. It's at the heart of, decentralized networks all over the place, maybe from Helium, which blew up, both in a good and a bad way, but, as well as, the decentralized VPN that we're running, through Mask. That is literally a DPIN, network. So it's us. If you ask what DPIN is, it's Mask.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it was on my little notes to bring up. So I think, it's worth talking about, and then I'll hint at how big this deep partnership we're trying to build, forecasting things for the future. Forecast, when I say forecast, I mean like these are things, aspirational goals we have. To get them achieved, there's obviously lots of challenges along the way. So these are sort of more longer term, but I want everyone to know the longer term vision, right? So firstly, DPIN, like you said, we kind of share kind of like a best of both worlds, right? Because you hit the nail on the head, action. You don't physically have to buy hardware to run Mask, but you can run it on various types of hardware. It could be your browser sitting on your PC, your laptop. You could run it standalone on a Raspberry Pi. You can build it into a open WRT router and run it through your house and have everything on your house go through Mask and then serve at the same time. All those types of cool things. Actually, Mask is playing a big part in that DPIN, not just narrative, but that DPIN sort of like technological layer that's spreading across the blockchain space, where it's leveraging blockchain networks in the way that you can incentivize people peer-to-peer. So that's always core to our model, right? Is it's peer-to-peer, not a corporation. It's a community. Everyone has a value of being part of it, and they can either add value or extract value to use in a good way, to use the network. So it becomes its own ecosystem, right? Now, this partner I've been talking to a lot. There's like probably 3 meetings I've had in the last 2 weeks. They're heavily involved. Yes, they are. And actually, you mentioned, this is actually really crazy. I gotta laugh. Like, you mentioned Helium, right? You saw the news that just got on the press, hot on the press, that they released a phone with the $20 subscription, right?
Yeah, that's been going for a little bit there.
Yeah, so now it's hitting the press. Everyone's like, "Wow, this is actually quite a cool idea." And basically, they're saying, we're gonna hot load a phone that we'll release. It's a $20 a month plan, and you leverage our DPIN network, our Helium network of 5G, because they pivoted into 5G as well. And you can run it all. It's unlimited bandwidth and service and whatnot, which is like pretty cool. Like there's so many projects that tried to do a phone, like a crypto, quote unquote, crypto phone, but it was like too early. It was not mature. It wasn't well designed, and it wasn't really decentralized. So like, that's cool. Like they went up 60%. Yes. Of that really strong press release. This project we're working with is closely aligned with them.
Interesting. Yeah. So Helium came out with a $5 plan first off, and how the way that worked out, but it was like local to Miami, because they had the
Right.
coverage to justify it. But $20 a month, it's still a great price the way they're doing it, and their backhaul, they're utilizing T-Mobile's platforms as well. So what they're doing is actually making money twice, which is kind
Yeah.
of weird because they'll sell the bandwidth and then they'll buy the bandwidth if necessary to serve those customers. But they're paying pennies on the dollar to T-Mobile for this stuff, sort of thing, which is really really cool. But yeah, it's definitely a
Yeah.
win for crypto as a whole. That's the exciting part of this.
Yeah, it legitimizes that use case, right? And so it's allowed us to kind of see that in a way. It's like, cool, that validates that pathway that we've, in the background we've been looking at too. Like, obviously we have on our long-term roadmap is to build Mask a mobile browser version, right? Because that mobile browser version will not only hit everyone's devices that they use every day. Everyone touches a phone pretty much every day. They're not always sitting on their desktop browser, but it will allow uh, one more avenue of demand for our mass network, where people can just hop on and not only see the brand, but if they're browsing with Mask on this browser, like turned on, they'll basically get a VPN in their phone with a few taps and be able to use the Mass network on the phone. As opposed to, like, there's lots of VPNs out there that have a one tap service on the phone, which is obviously a really cool tool to have. It's very, adds a lot of value to people browsing off the phone these days, especially when you're traveling or in a public place. So we've got strong pathways into that now, even stronger than before, because of this one particular partner we're talking closely with. The other aspect is we do want to start pivoting our core software or the browser software now to also start presenting itself from the user element that they see to be like resembling what it would look like in a phone. So like what we're working on a lot right now, this is like the background work now in the last 2 weeks, is that for those who are on the browser, you have a dashboard screen right now, and you see this nice 3D globe, and it's got a graphic of you hopping from country to country, and it looks really fancy. And then on the right, you've got these panels. One panel for if you're consuming, which means you're browsing on the Mass network, you're paying some peers and a little bit of tokens to browse, and then you've got a serving panel. So if you can serve, if your router's playing nice out of the box, you can serve, earn some Mask if users and peers are browsing through you. That's all going to be like boiled down and condensed into one panel, which is going to fit into like what would look like a browser extension, kind of like MetaMask. If you click on MetaMask, there's like a small pop-up. It's like 620 by 480 pixels big, and that's what you would see. So like we'll be iterating towards those types of things in preparation for those goals in the long term, which is build a browser extension, build a mobile app, because you got to have the nice UI elements, right? It's got to be on brand. It's got to look nice. It's got to feel like just an extension of the work that has been done already for the browser. And so we're making headway on that. And that's really cool to see, because I'm like, wow, this is the future. Like I'm seeing the future now, like what's going to happen. So those
let me ask you
are
the hard
accelerating.
question. Why are you doing it backwards? Isn't it much easier for you to just create an extension and not go out with a full browser? Why do it the way you're doing it now?
See, that's a very educated question, right? And the main reason is you got to have both sides of the ecosystem, supply and demand, to create that properly, right? And we've learned a lot, even just mentioning Helium, right? We've learned a lot from seeing other projects do different approaches and go-to-market strategies. And what Helium did was very successful at the time. They had so many people running their hardware, and there was like thousands of them, but there was a oversaturation of supply because they didn't have the demand of people on it, running it. Like, oh, I'm going to browse, I'm going to use Helium's data bandwidth and hop on the network. Like that wasn't quite matched up. That equilibrium wasn't met. So we knew that if we started with a browser that also allowed serving, that you'd have a good mixture of people also serving, also browsing. If we went straight to a mobile app, we know now, like technologically, in terms of the limitations of a mobile phone, it's probably unfeasible to have people serve from their phone and earn Mask, because just you're bouncing from tower to tower, you're roaming, you're switching IPs constantly, your network connection to the mass network is going to be very fragmented, and it's going to burn your battery in like down to in like 2 hours, constantly trying to upload, right? If you've ever tried to upload files off your phone, you'll know what I mean. So we knew that that wasn't like the very first experience people should get, those who want a one-click serve and earn. It can't be from the phone. So that was the underlying reason we went for browser first, and because we knew we could achieve like the serving and demand consuming all in one app to start, then we could pivot to the phone and make that successful.
Wow, they just pumped another 60 some odd percent again. Like just for the week, they're almost 100. They're 85% appealing. That's wild. And they did not do what you're describing. I mean, I remember that at their peak months of income back when, things were really popping, they brought in a whopping $3,000 from selling the data. That's a little rough. That's a little rough, isn't it? For a company that was putting together like all of these wild things. I mean, the market cap, it was pretty stinking high. I mean, they got up to, over $50. And right now they're just over $5.
Yeah, that's insane to look at the peaks and the troughs of the history there. The side. I mean, they're a fairly mature project though, and I mean, hats off to them, like constantly building and iterating to better strategies. As the landscape changes, you gotta adapt. Like the projects that are failing are either ones that are just really, really euphoric with how they spend money on the next trend and try and stay relevant for the wrong reasons to their core product, right? And then they run out of funding or runway. And then you've got ones that are agile enough to do it, but still stay true to their core purpose, really. And I guess, you could say like big projects like that, who did a very successful ICO and have backers and lots of funding, you have those trial periods where you can kind of like, you've got a lot more fat in the system to kind of go out and try and launch your thing. And if it doesn't work, you're not like going to just run out of runway and cease to exist. With us being so like lean, and I know you've rightfully called me cheap and frugal before, and it's true. Like I've had to be to make, like lemonade out of rocks, bro. Like you look at what we've done with zero runway from the beginning.
Right. And can I get a round of applause for Corey for being the guy that is never going to throw anybody under the bus, regardless of how crappy their price action is? That was pretty impressive. I gotta say, Corey, that was pretty smooth how you managed to be nice to Helium. That was not a lot of people have the grace to be able to do that. So good job, buddy.
Well, I've always taken a page from the book that, like, I don't know, I might have mentioned this once in one of our earlier spaces. That you know what the golden rule is, right? Action.
I mean, I got 3 kids now, so I better know that you better do unto others as you like to be, things to be done to you. That's
right. Absolutely. Like law of the land in terms of teaching people manners and teaching kids like how to treat people, right? And so I've kind of carried that through into business as I've grown up. And then I met someone who, was very influential to me about like 15 years ago, who's very successful, still very successful in the part of the world that I was, operating in my previous business life and stuff. And they said, we live in our culture as a team and a business by the platinum rule. And I was like, okay, what's the platinum rule? And they're like, do more good onto others than you would expect back. And I was like, bro, that is the coolest culture shift from a golden rule to that, to say, like, if you could instill that in people, it's kind of like you building in the pay it forward concept at the same time. So like, I guess when I talk about other projects, I kind of say, well, look, you got to recognize what they might have done, that's good in the world, and like, blah, 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 and treat people well. And hopefully, you treat them better than they maybe, some other people might think they should be talked about. And hopefully it's returned in some way, but you don't expect it, right? You don't expect it. And you got to humble yourself because everyone starts and makes mistakes. So it's like, it's just something that I thought culturally that I try to carry into our team, and just how I speak publicly to people. about other
And
stuff. So yeah.
yeah, it shines through, and that's the thing. Like in the community that has been just growing rapidly around Mask really takes that on as well, because it's not about going out there and trashing other projects, saying, "Oh, they're not doing it right. They're trying to rob people. They're doing this." Like, it's not about that. It's, hey, that's cool that there's more people building in the space. This is what we're doing, and we're excited about it, and hope you can be too. Like, that approach really changes the mindset of people that are looking to invest, looking to run nodes themselves, being a part of a new ecosystem that's, rapidly growing. We're not even in mainnet yet. Like, we're still in testnet, and people are excited about what we're
Yeah.
doing. Like, this is where I want to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, and for those, listening and watching who are or maybe newer to our community, like I know some people, like they come from other communities maybe in the space and expect things very quickly, or things to iterate fast, or hey, when's the new, you just announced this, oh that's awesome, when's the next big thing? And it's like, yeah, like that fast pace might exist in other places, but culturally you got to also appreciate a culture, which in business or in any project or community, like there's a lot of people that come and go from different communities just because it becomes not a happy place or a constructive place to be in, right? And that's because culture is something you can't buy. Culture and like how you build your team to respect each other and others in the space and themselves is something you got to work hard to make and have like a certain level of accountability for what people do and say, especially if you're a team member. And then people in the community, they're also going to carry that into how they interact with each other. So like you come and go in communities, you notice a culture. And of course in crypto, we've got like some very well-defined cultures in the space now. You've got like a meme culture, like a degen culture. You've got maxis of different types. You've got pro proof of work. You've got pro proof of stake, and it becomes tribal, and all of them have their own culture. And that doesn't happen by itself. Like it's like a self-evolving thing that you just kind of end up with, right? So you got to be careful how you grow it. And so for us, like where we're it's a longer travel project. That kind of makes us different. And I've heard that a lot. And just even people who are new to our community just come in and saying, wow, I just really like being here. Like it's not, really hype driven. You guys have a real product. That's what you focus on. You listen to the users. I enjoy talking here. People are friendly. People are happy, positive. And then the market follows too. And then they're like, wow, this is even cooler. Like when that's there. So, I've really enjoyed seeing that. It's given me a lot of positive vibes to push hard and stay up late all the nights working too.
But you couldn't have said it better. I mean, ultimately, the way to look at, these things is that whatever you feed grows, and whatever you starve will die off. And when you're feeding the good ideas, the positive, the vibes, like the cool kids are saying it these days, like that's what, the community is going to drive itself towards. It's going to be, hey, we want to build something cool. We want to be part of something that's, unique, exciting, and honestly, just make the world a better place. I mean, I can be so bold to say that, because that's ultimately what the idea of Mask, what the project is all about, is about making, the world essentially borderless. There's way too much friction. There's way too many things that people don't have access to. And if we can make a better browsing experience where people are free to look at whatever it is that they want, that they have the freedom to do that, man, happy day. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and there's so much that goes into that. So like that is our ultimate vision, right? Is to continue that core vision, core ethos that the centralized web is everyone's to own and be part of, and actually like contribute value-wise, be part of it on a value sense where you add value to the network and you use value in the network, right? So it's that whole Web3 read, write, own. So you could own a piece of the network by being a node and running it, and people who use you to route the traffic, you're going to earn some ask from them. At the end of the day, it's an ecosystem. And then people who are browsing on the network, and maybe they're in a place that's very, very underprivileged compared to where you or I or anyone listening in the, quote unquote free West of the world, and that's changing all the time, what it is. But you might be helping them out, and they're spending some of this Mask token. Now, of course, everything's free. It's in testnet. We want to push this testnet to the limit. We want people to come in, try and break it, try and stream, and I was constantly getting people coming in, oh man, I'm streaming 4K. Like, look at this. And I was like, bro, you're eating all the bandwidth. Like these new people are coming in, they might be, like competing with you and trying to get a little bit of that love on YouTube. But it's actually working well because there's a lot of nodes joining in and users joining in. So that's really cool. It's like the economy part of it. But to do that, to do this long-term vision, we have to have the infrastructure that we're not physically building, supporting it. And that's why I'm spending so much time with these partners, especially since I've gotten well from the illness that hit the plague of the house, where all of us got sick and stuff. Like I've caught up with heaps of meetings because part of this is technology, like making sure the search is done in our Mask browser are decentralized. If anyone is sitting here using Mask browser and you're Google searching still, please slap yourself in the face, because you're kind of mixing the wrong stuff with what we're building. So please use the defaults that we have in there. There's DuckDuckGo and there's Presearch, and those are the key people we respect enough to put in there as a selection. And then soon there'll be a default there that we're going to talk about. But that's part of the building, right? That's the future, is that people searching, they're not going to be censored in their search. What better way to open the world to censorship-free information than making sure they use a censorship-free or censorship-resistant, privacy-centric search engine, right? Something simple like that. It sounds silly, but it's got to be part of it.
No, I mean, I don't think it's silly, but I think it's counterintuitive, because people have just been, kind of programmed to, like, when they look for something, they're going to go to that website that you mentioned. That's just the norm. And it's like, wait, there are better options. Like, there's an option out there that's not going to, harvest 21 points of data from you every time you open the browser.
It's disgusting.
It's really bad.
And I saw someone, they're not even the worst. Like, someone just shared with me a picture of some Outlook pop-up that said our permissions or privacy policies change, click this to proceed, or maybe it was installing Teams or Microsoft Outlook. It literally said, we may share your information with 720 partners. I was like, what in the world is going on with something like that?
At that point, it's just a joke, Corey. Like, let's be serious.
That's a meme. I was like, this must be a meme. This must be a bloody meme. And I was like, no, that's a real screenshot. I was like blown away. Like, okay, 20. Okay, 20. 720. I was like, geez, that's nuts, man.
That's 720 possibilities of a data breach.
Exactly. And, it's like, what are they... And we're not trying to scare people. Like, we're just trying to, this is part of this education. Like, people will learn as they use. Like, that's how most people learn, right? You hire someone new in your team, they learn by doing. You hire someone who's doing a job for you that they're not used to, or you work with a friend, you're going to teach them something new. You learn by doing. And it's the same with educating people about Web3 and about valuing the privacy aspect of Web3. They have to learn by doing. And that is why we believe that so fiercely with Web3 that we can be the gateway, is that most people operate on a browser now to interact with the world. And so if you can help educate people through that in any way, that's good. It's adding value to them. Now, they may not become a fan. They might not become a cheerleader for Mask. Maybe it's not for them. That's okay. Hopefully they still learn something and can value that will help them, live a better life online. And that's the key.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, I really love when people are able to learn from my mistakes, because I have lots of them. Like this past week, there are 2 charges from an airline on my credit card. And I'm like, I didn't fly anywhere. What's going on here? And I, sure enough, called the credit card company. I was like, hey, this wasn't me. This wasn't what was going on. Come to find out, it was technically me, because the account information for the login for that airline, which I set up probably almost a decade ago, had been compromised. And somebody basically logged into that account and used my account to purchase tickets. So, being safe out there goes way, way further than just making sure you know where you're connecting yourself into. It's also, who are you providing your data to? Because again, 720 partners, 720 possibilities of your data going out there and somebody getting a hold of it. And I'm not cool with that. I really, really not cool with that.
yeah, that blew me away. And I was like, wow, if you could use stuff where you knew like there was zero to start off with, and any people you share with was your own doing. And like you say, it could be a mistake or logging into the wrong thing or whatever. Like, cool. But at least you could start from scratch. Whereas, starting with something and they're like, yeah, we're going to send your data to possibly 700 different places. It's like, oh my gosh, like, is it worth me using this? Like, I'm sure there's alternatives out there. Uh, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah, we're working hard with that behind the scenes, and the biggest thing for me working with these people is that it's like validating what I've like. I guess I'm kind of talking more about personal things today, which is probably a good time to do that because we've had a very good period recently where the market seems to be waking up to how important we play a part in the space of and what we're building, what we're trying to deliver, what we are delivering, and iterating on. And like, this is the time of year where you reflect, right? You reflect about what you've done this year, what your goals are going forward, what you want to improve, what your strengths have been, what your weaknesses have been. Where are the gaps in the team? Where is the gaps in our presence online, the gaps in our product, like all that type of stuff. And so I want to talk about it more is like more about where we've come from, because honestly, like I've talked with some people who are made people. When I say made people, these are 6 to 8 figure value people who don't need to work. Like they choose what they want to work in or add value in or add attention to, right? And I'm like, man, I'm sitting with these like high flyers and stuff, and they're telling me all these things and like shedding opinions on how they're impressed and like, wow, you're like the underdog story, that rare breed. And I'm like, man, that's part of our brand story, and we actually haven't really showcased it enough. Maybe because from the top down, I've been told, and I guess I'm a fairly humble person. I don't like to portray big achievements and stuff because it's a team thing, and I don't like to take credit for people in our team as the one who's public, because to me, I think the team is the brand, which it is. But man, like to see that, it's like really giving me so much energy to like build and to keep pushing and to add so much value to what you guys and girls are seeing now in the product. Like next year's our year. Like that's all I can say. Like with the biggest energy I could provide in one statement, I'm like, next year is our year, because not just whatever the market does. It's just because all the things culminating together now with the experience and where we're building, it's like people will be wanting to be part of this community. They want to be a Mask browser user, and they're going to want to be part of the network. There's all these reasons why. There's going to be very little reasons why not to try. And so that's cool, man. That's cool to be validated in that way. When you spent 4 years building it basically from a garage or like a little desk in your house, and then you're seeing people like talk to you about it. It's just really cool. It's like, yeah, it's hard to describe.
No, and I do appreciate that more than you know. And the little praises that you're getting, that is a very, very tiny number in comparison to what actually is happening out there, because people are much, much more likely to give you all the hate and the things they don't like as opposed to the things that they do appreciate. So if you're hearing, praises from one person, you can multiply that, by a lot, because people have negative things to say way more often than they do the good, the good things.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, obviously we're here on X, and like everyone's the public square, and often that is true. Like the more polarizing stuff is the stuff that's heard. People will scream about stuff they aren't happy about much louder than the things that they like or think is going great. So, but again, we've talked about it so many times. We're still on the cusp of a big, exposure event of crypto rising again, and this is where it's still relatively quiet to cut through some noise, where you are a legit player with good products and you want people to try it. And it's only going to get noisier, and in some ways that's good. There might be more opportunity for us to gain that brand awareness through lots of our strategy we've got planned too. But it becomes more noisier with all the other people projects trying to make their presence. And so that's a good time. It's a good time to really knuckle down and showcase what we're building. So hopefully, very probably in the next few days, we'll have another version. out, and all of you who are browser users, you'll be able to see that update button pop up and update it. And for those who are current users, you probably won't notice a huge amount of different stuff in the browser straight away. We've added a few Web3 dApp Store listings. So there's a couple that have actually added us out of nowhere. We're supported on Telcoin Exchange, which is a nice app. I've just tried it. I'm not sure if they're supporting US users, but they have a huge number of countries they do support for all running, buying and selling crypto on an Android and iPhone app, which is quite cool. It's very clean. I've tried it out. I might be using that over the holidays to onboard some of my older relatives, to be fair, because it's quite easy to use, and it's something offered where we live, which is quite easy.
Are you the tech guy?
Yeah, man, they're like always bothering me with tech stuff.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I know the feeling. So yeah.
Well, the thing I'm getting now,
I am so sorry.
Oh man, and you don't want to be the one that constantly says I'm too busy, because then they're like, oh no, he's not going to help me, But it's I'm getting so much now for those in the family that know.
There's a balance there.
It so is, and you don't. That's the worst, right? You're like, all the kids are opening their toys and stuff on Christmas. Someone's got something that's like techie or whatever, and then they spend the next 2 hours while all the family's having fun over a couple Christmas drinks. Hey man, can you set this up for me? And you're like, well, I could. Like, can we do this later? No, this is so cool. It's like my new thing. I'm real excited, and you spend Christmas morning doing the tech support nerd on call thing. It's like, oh man, that'll happen to all of us probably. Or someone will be like, how do I buy crypto now? It's getting hot. It's like, here we go. Okay.
Oh, that's coming. Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving here in the US was a time that people got made fun of. Like, where are your internet coins going? You still playing with those things on the internet? But yeah, with the price of Bitcoin going up now, hopefully, Christmas season's a little bit better to us.
Oh man, I know, but it's so true. And now the funny thing is, the family who know I'm a deep part of Mask. I've told them, hey, I'm doing this cool stuff. Now they're like, they start to research it a little bit. They're like, wow, how do I get involved? Can I buy some tokens? I'm like, oh no, here we go. I don't want to be the financial advisor, pseudo crypto man, doing this stuff. And I'm really trying to push that back. No, you make your own decisions, bro. That's not me, It's funny, but it's just bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you stay in the space long enough, it's just it comes with the territory, I guess, right?
Yeah, it does. But that's a sign of the times, isn't it? Really a sign of the times. But yeah, we've had all in all, a very good week. Lots of wins behind the scenes with some development stuff. Again, we've got this new update coming out. We'll see some cool stuff. Again, I've hinted at it. Friday, if you follow this particular project already, you'll know they do a Friday live stream. We'll get a mention there, and then there's going to be a pretty significant press release that goes out, a joint one. About what we're going to do.
So I think I know who you're talking about. They've been pretty consistent with those streams, if it is who I'm thinking it is. Because they've done it for a while. Bull or bear, they're still at it.
They are, and this might reveal it too. Not long ago, they had a new CEO come on board, who's completely pushed the right buttons, the right levers, the right strategy. And I had a very good chat with him. Again, 2 times. And he loves what we're doing. It's a clear collaboration on so many levels. So anyway, it's a super positive, and yeah, they'll probably talk about us. They will, and then next week I'll probably appear on there too. So we're going to see the scheduling of that's pretty much done. But yeah, that's going to be fun as well. Which is early morning for me. Yeah, it's early morning for me on a Saturday, but I'm gonna do it for the fans. You see, do it for the familia.
Oh man, no, that'll be fun. And that's a YouTube. That's Twitter? Where is that happening at?
I think they do it on YouTube. To be fair, I will find out.
That's who I'm thinking. It is YouTube. They're always on there on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, just to hint at users now, like it is already in our browser in a more not in the forefront. It's there though. Like you can use this part of it. You can leverage that partnership infrastructure there that they've built and stuff. So yeah, it's already a part of our ecosystem. But we're really deepening that soon, and they have ties in so many areas that are very important, not only for the decentralization that we're achieving and strive to achieve, but also for like the way things can be delivered in the future in like a whole standalone experience that's meshed together so easily that people are just they're leveraging so many cool things, and that's the goal, right? Is to make it so easy to use they don't need to know what's happening underneath the hood unless they're interested in it, right? Like everyone who loves to, we're about to be, people say we're going to be in Lambo season soon, right? Like I've never seen someone who goes to test drive a Lambo and the first thing they do is ask, okay, can I have a look in how many cylinders are in here?
Like they should
what's
know
the
that it's 12 if they're going to buy a Lambo. Let me just put that out there. They know it's a 12. It's a V12.
Right. That's right. They might know, and then they're like, "Cool. Actually, I just want to sit in that seat. I just want to put my hands on the wheel. I just want to go as fast as I can."
It's about how far can I get this thing to go.
Right. They're like, "How fast can I go? Does this have 7 gears? Can I chuck it in 7th gear?" Like people are just so excited to go as fast as they can. And they don't need to care about how the engineers have built it so much. They know it's like quality, right? Because the experience is there. Like that's kind of like what we're doing. We're trying to package that. No, it iterates. We get some things right out the gate, and some things need some time. Some things need some working out, and then the space evolves quickly. So you got to keep up with lots of stuff. But I think we're doing pretty impressive, and I got to give my hats off, again to the team, to you, Action, week in week out supporting us, and of course all the community, because all of you have really made a presence. Yeah, a round of applause. Really made a presence, and I see some OGs in here who are like kind of the new age OGs who always talk about us too now. Thank you so much to all of you, and some of you have your own communities you host. You talk about current events, you talk about current tech and players in the space. You started showing us some love too, and saying, showcasing what we've been doing. So thank you again too for you guys. Always happy to help and talk to you if you want to chat. And I think someone might have a question, but maybe because I was like rambling a little, they drifted off the scene.
They came in. I think it's probably because you answered the question without even realizing it. I'm gonna claim that's what happened.
Yeah, you might be right. If anyone does want to hop up and say anything, or we've got another maybe 5 minutes. Like, if anyone has a question or wants to, just ask about the browser, Ghost, or how to.
Haven't heard from you in a while. You can feel free to raise your hand and have say hello.
Is there a crypto ghost here?
There is. There's a good one. It's a homie.
Oh yeah, man. Well, if you want to be brave, not on the browser side, go ahead and step up to the speaker mic. Do it.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate these. Oh snap! Hey, here we go. Look at this.
Oh yeah, we got 2 back to back. Okay.
2.6 million followers coming up on stage.
Well, you're a co-host, man. Bring them up. Welcome.
Hi guys.
What's up, brother?
This is the first time I've spoken on a space. Nice to meet you all.
No way.
Yeah, really.
No, are you serious?
I'm serious.
So the ghost has revealed himself.
So I've never been
2.6 million followers later.
Oh God.
You're on a space. Congratulations. This is awesome.
I lost my virginity. Wow. How are you all?
We will always remember this, my friends. We will always remember your first time.
Oh well, so it's pretty cool to hear about the browser, and I was looking into it, and no, it's good. Keep it up. I'm sure it's got it's got a market, and the more you develop it, the more it's gonna turn into something that becomes a primary. And I know Action's very in touch with the space. So, when you're in touch with the space, he's also said that this is his passion project. So when you're in touch with the space, you kind of know what to fix and what's wrong with the other competitor products and etc. What's like needs fixing, or the UI, or the hotkeys and all of the functionalities of a successful product. You guys have someone on board that's quite in touch. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys develop.
I appreciate the flowers, brother. I'll since you came up and you said that, I'll be completely transparent. I've pushed during the bull 7 figures worth of other people's decentralized products. Like they sold that much through my referral code, and I don't have a referral code for Mask, and I'm pushing this thing out more than that other project. And it's not because I'm getting paid; it's because I really love what's being built here and how it's working and where it's going. Talk about our ROI for me and Mask. It doesn't compare to other things, but I'm just honestly, from the bottom of my heart, excited about this community, excited about this product and where it's gonna go. Like it's just a really cool place to be.
And that's the best way to be, I'm sure. I mean, it's great when you've got a passion for something and it's growing and you're building a community. It's a great thing. So I'll hop off though. Thank you for the first chat, but shout out to you guys. Keep building. Don't give up. I'm gonna go have some dinner, but I'll catch up with you action maybe tomorrow or another day, and we'll grind out and see what's new.
Sounds great, brother. I appreciate you hopping up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Shout out to
you.
you,
Yeah, cheers, buddy. And also appreciate you stepping out of the shadows just for us, man. That's really cool. That's a special thing. So I'll remember this, man, when we're all having to drink sometime in some random country that we all decide to fly to have some
We
fun.
would have to fly to some random country.
Oh God.
Yeah, bro. It'll be good.
Okay,
It'll be
shout
good.
out, guys. I'll go now.
Cheers, bud.
Yo.
Wow, that's a first. Like, that's cool that we have some firsts happening in this space, man. That's like, again, I'm blown away. Like, these are the types of things that are like so super energizing me lately. Just like seeing these catalysts happen where people are like amazing people are just joining and talking to us, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, Corey, this is not the best time to hold spaces. That's part of the reason why the number of people is not higher. This is like just a weird time. There's definitely other better time frames for these spaces to take place, but I want to make sure that you're actually, awake when we're hosting these. So this is the best time for us. And now we have Danny. Danny, you doing YouTube, man? What's going on over there?
Hey, man. How's it going? Thanks for having me up. Yeah, I got a little YouTube channel.
Good stuff, buddy.
So I've been talking
How's
a lot.
things over there, man?
All good, man. I love what you guys are doing. I've been following the project for a little while, and trying to spread the word and talk about it. And I'm getting some questions, so I figured I'd come up on stage and ask some of them so that I can relay them, more effectively. So one of the questions I was asked today from someone who reached out to me, they DM'd me and asked me, because they've heard me talking about it, was, what would make someone want to, spend Mask and pay to use the browser, the premium features of the browser?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you gotta have your product differentiators to make people excited, right? And so for us, we're building that into like a premium part of the Mask browser. So I think part of your question, like, there's probably 2 parts to your question. Number one is why would they want to become premium? And that means they just have to hold at the moment a certain amount of tokens. I think it's 1,000 Mask at the moment. What would be appealing for them to do that? And then, of course, later when they're using the browser, they're going to be in mainnet. They're going to be spending Mask to browse. So, of course, you got all of the dynamics there. But just to focus on the first part, like, we want to build an experience where, like, as a user, you're going to see that as a valuable thing, right? And so what we're trying to enhance in that area is making the browser customizable. So it's like truly something you enjoy using. We've started that with Spaces, with having that that sort of dock on the bottom where you can put your favorite sites and apps and all sorts of things in there. And hopefully everything becomes like one click away for how you want to interact with Web3. So we kind of want ourselves to sit as like, you know, I'm gonna explore crypto, I'm gonna explore Web3. I want to use Mask, but I want to make sure I get the best experience because all these cool features are here to make me interact with Web3 really easy. I'm also going to do premium. At the moment, one of the biggest features too is you're able to browse on the Mask browser without using the Mask network, so you don't have to connect to VPN. So you can actually use it as a daily browser too. That's a premium feature at the moment. It's just the one switch, and when you click that, it's going to just use your normal internet connection. So you'll see a little pop-up that says you're unprotected for without the Mask network, but you're still on the, you know, a very safe browser to use. But you can surf with your normal speed, your normal internet connection, and then toggle it on and just have this privacy experience with one click. So we're going to keep building those features and make that premium basically something that everyone wants to have when they open the Mask browser.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. And in terms of how we stand out from other projects that, you know, they just have browsers or technologies that you can just use, you know, and just use it without any loyalty thing or premium thing. We just want to, you know, reiterate that like none of the normal ties are in the software, like analytics, tracking, you know, selling your information. Like there's no monetization of the user themselves to Mask as a project. You know, they're not monetized by using it. Whereas a lot of projects out there, and you know the names, that's their model, is they get a cut on selling the people's data or their traffic patterns or their ads they click on or the banners, pop-ups, whatever. That's how they make money. And we've totally removed ourselves from any revenue model like that and don't rely on that. And in fact, we want to, you know, keep that as the forefront of our product, is that we're not doing that at all. So you're using the software like no one knows you're using it, and you just do what you want with it. And, you know, you can add to the ecosystem at the same time. So that's a big thing for us and for users.
And then, you know, once it's like rolled out properly and people are using Mask, spending Mask to use the network, what would like the cost basis be to use the network?
Yeah, good. Like we've set it at a fixed amount for testnet. So I think it's roughly, last time I checked, it's about 250 gigabyte or 250 megabytes per Mask. So maybe like 4 Mask a gigabyte, which sounds like a lot now, but that's just because it's pegged at that. But the pricing model is dynamic. So essentially when people can serve, they'll be able to set, do I want to charge higher? Do I want to charge lower? And then of course, each person's actual software is always going to pick the cheapest route. So if you're trying to browse, like say to uniswap.org or whatever, all the available peers around you, it's going to choose the cheapest route, all locally on your machine. It's not going to rely on like some other provider or an oracle that could be, you know, gamed and stuff like that. And if someone's trying to charge like loads and loads and it's unfair, like you're probably not going to use their node because there's multiple other nodes around. So yeah, it's going to be a bit dynamic as well. But our goal is to get that modeling right. So, you know, someone who's serving will never have a cost, really. Essentially, that's the goal, is you'll have a net neutral use of Mask for your daily use. If you're streaming and doing high intensive sort of bandwidth activities, you know, you probably will have to spend, you know, some tokens overall if you're serving, because you're using a lot more than you're serving. But yeah, we want it to pretty much be a cost neutral if possible. But those in countries that really need this type of technology, there's a strong demand for that, where people would rather do that because the VPNs are very expensive there, and they get charged no matter how much bandwidth they use. Most VPNs are, you know, possibly unlimited data, but you just pay a flat rate, and it might be $20, $50, whatever per month, even if you don't use it. So we're going to have a lot of aspects of that. And one thing we're actually working on now in relation to that is we want to have a price limiter sort of feature in the browser. So you can tell the browser and the software, hey, I only want to spend up to $10 a month or $5 a month. If I hit that, I want you to, warn me and then, turn off my connection to Mask just so I don't go over that. And of course, you could adjust it at any time. But once that's in there, I think people will also be a lot more comfortable knowing they can manage how much they're browsing and also look at that while they're serving, if they're serving and earning at the same time, like how much they're, how much it's working on for them.
Yeah, thanks for the explanation. That actually gives a lot of clarity. So the idea is to get as many people, on as servers as possible, strengthen the network, make everything faster, et cetera. Correct?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that for there, the key is going to be options, right? So out of the box, the browser lets you do everything in one software. I know it's not quite, perfected with the serving aspect. Like it's not 100% working with everyone's different routers because there's thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably router models out there and people's setups. But we're constantly trying to make that easier and easier. And so essentially anyone with the browser could try and serve. And if it works well with their network setting, they'll be able to serve just from wherever they are, from their home or whatever. But then you've got other flavors of the software where you can run it in a cloud. So someone might say, you know what, I've got this awesome deal. $3 a month, I can run a server up in some service, cloud service, get an IP address and run Mask, and then I'm serving, and I can earn from that and serve the network. So there's going to be, we already know,
careful with
demand.
that. Those are partnerships I'm working on in the background. Don't be telling people. It's
I know.
I was
I was just saying, man, like you probably have the super deals, but you and I know there is like insane demand for people wanting to be node runners, especially where it's somewhere they know it's all about bandwidth, right? It's not about compute. That's a big factor for people. Our software is not about compute power because you're not running GPU, CPU, like high intensive activities for compute. It's about bandwidth and stability. So most servers offer that. High-speed connections, large bandwidth caps. So essentially, you could be the perfect server very easily. And we're perfecting our Docker image actually now because we've got another infrastructure partner that's demoing with us who hopefully can be a direct replacement for AWS and the big data corps that do cloud compute. And they're, companion to Akash. It's not to say we're not going to work with them closely as well, but they're very closely involved with them. So yeah, these are all options that are going to make that easy for people to be serving the network, to make as many servers as we can to strengthen it, and then offer those connections. The last thing is we got to have servers everywhere in the world to get that coverage, right? Now, we know there's probably if I love people who are Iranian. One of my friends is a very close friend. His family's from Iran, and they are very repressed there. Chances are not a lot of people are going to want to browse sites that are hosted in Iran, right? It's not highly desired content, but we still need servers there because the people in Iran need a few hops, at least one, most of the time, to hop out of their country to the other countries where they want the content. So we have to make it as easy as possible for anyone and everyone to safely, that's the key too, safely serve and spread that network mesh across the globe in as many places as we can. So we got to make that as easy as possible. That's a constant area we're focusing on. It's a challenge, but that's part of our goal as well.
And Corey, like I know you said a lot of people won't want to browse through those types of locations. Like I'm actually the guy who does actually try to browse through those locations whenever I can, just to actually get a glimpse of what their world looks like.
Yeah.
Sometimes we kind of miss that. But when we kind of look in and go, okay, so what does, even like going to regular news sites, what does it look like from other places? Man, the internet is very different when you browse it from somewhere that is oppressed, that the government essentially has a hold of all of the data and controls what comes in and what goes out. And you guys would be surprised. So like I would be excited to have, nodes in Iran just because of that, just to see like what are they actually seeing right now.
Yeah, that online view is so different from place to place, and people are getting more and more aware of that when they use our browser. Because at the moment, it's like we call a country hop, where it's different countries, at various times, so you're not always in the same place. It's still going to try and get you to the site you want, but it might be a site that's showing content from that country you end up, exiting from. And you do see so much different stuff. Like anyone who wants to try it, just go to something like YouTube or go to like a news site, and you'll see that whole content is completely different, and a different language, different news bits, different ads. If there are ads showing, most of them are blocked, but yeah, so different. And yeah, I don't know, Danny, do you have lots of followers from different places around the world? Have you noticed you got a big uptake in different places now?
Yeah, they're pretty spread out. Europe, Australia, not Iran, not yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of your users are going to see that too. They're going to be like, wow, these are different perspectives you can see in different places. But you made a good point, Action, on that is just because someone might not want to grab Iranian content sometimes, or some people might, but it might not be like really, really common. They still can earn from routing through. So you might be one of the middle hops in someone's routing, where you're not getting content for them, but you're just passing it along, right? Because we need 3 hops to get mask level privacy. So you might be like the middle hop, one of the 2 middle hops along the route, because someone might be right next door. Like you might be browsing from, say, I don't know, like Tunisia or, somewhere in Eastern Europe. And then some of your hops go through those neighboring areas, then all the way to UK or Australia or America, USA. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, when you think about that, it's like the truly global goal would be to get people in every country,
All right. You sound pretty worldly here, Corey. Just for funsy, I know that we're over an hour already, but can you name 2 countries that start with the letter Z? And I know you're walking around, so I don't have to worry about you looking this up.
Oh, I promise you, I'm not going to look it up. So I think I've got this. We've got Zimbabwe.
Yep, that's the easy one that most people go
Zambia.
to. Zambia. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You got it.
I've been studying this.
You know what
should
that
we
tells
try?
me?
Should we quiz Danny? Should we quiz Danny on this?
No, I mean, I think I was looking at Danny. He's in New York. I don't want to do that to Americans. It's not fair.
Have him name 2
What was that
states
question?
start
Sorry,
with a
someone was
certain
talking
letter.
to me.
Oh, I was
Let's
asking.
go with states.
States. Well, still. So I was asking Corey 2 countries that start with the letter Z. But I'll give you an easier one because I think there's more countries with this letter. Can you do 2 countries with the letter J?
Ooh. There should be 2 easy. Well, it's one easy one there. Is that for me or for Danny? Danny might not realize I'm putting him on the hot
yeah,
seat.
I mean, I'm just wondering if
that's for
Danny
me?
wants to participate. Yeah, can you give me 2
Danny.
countries with the letter J?
J?
J.
Japan. Yeah, Japan's an easy one.
Yep. There's another easy one.
And Jamaica is an island? Or
Yeah, there you go. Wait.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Coming to Iron Man.
That's pretty good there. Most people don't get those. Most people blank on Jamaica. There's also Jordan is the other one.
There you go. He's onto it. That's right.
That's awesome.
Any more questions from your fans, Danny? Did you have anything else on the the tips of the tongue?
Yeah, one of the
tips
persons
of the
today
fingers?
asked about the token utility and what wondering if the utility case was strong enough for people to actually utilize the token. But I think that you talked about that.
Yeah, it is a good topic because that really needs to be strong, right? Especially when you've got so many projects out there. That's probably, if you're like a value, and I don't say the I word investment a lot at all, but I'm saying this in a sense of like searching for value where someone might want to, be part of the community and whatever, get tokens or whatever. If you're a value-based person, that's what the first question is going to be, right? Why does this project have a token? Why do they even have a token? And the answer to that for a lot of stuff coming out. It's like, why? Is there a reason? Like, is it just to fund the team? Is it just to be speculative or whatever? So I feel like we're pretty wholesome with that here because number one, Mask, the main utility, and for those who want to look at it in a very like verbose way, we spent a lot of time drafting up what we call our token economy document. That's on our page, docs.mask.ai. You can check it out. And it goes over that use case. It shows our token utility in different ways. It shows how we launched. It shows how our token was allocated throughout the project and for the community, and just basically like how that's been mapped out since the beginning. And we haven't deterred from that. So all that stuff's obviously very public and visible. What we want to build on is the future use case for utility, right? It's not stopping where we're at now. Obviously, the token is the fuel of the network and it's peer-to-peer. So peers are rewarding peers. So it's not like you get a reward pool where the water tank you're swimming with shrimp at the beginning and all of a sudden whales jump in because they're dumping all their tokens into the market. You can see our circulating is like 94%, which is all in the hands of the community or in liquidity on DEX exchanges. So the utility there is obviously that. The fuel, peers pay peers, you browse on the network in mainnet, you're going to spend some Mask, and the people serving are going to earn that token from the peers. And there's modeling there to make sure it's not gamed and not abused and, like people will pay their debts or else they don't get service sort of thing. And good service will be rewarded as well as bad service not being incentivized. Then we've got the premium part of the browser. We really want to build more on that. That's our primary user experience focus for the next quarter, is making that more attractive and making people say, you know what? I can't live without premium because it's actually got such good features in there. And we're also looking at, because of that market appreciation across the community and the public, we're looking at changing that amount. We know that 1,000 is quite a lot, so I'll hint at that here. We're probably going to change that fairly soon to make it a little more easy for people who want to try it and get the premium features. Because 1,000 Mask now is actually getting up there. We didn't always anticipate that, and so we knew that would happen at some point, but it happened very quickly. So we know we want to show the community that we're aware of that too. We want more people to be having that attained for them to enjoy that and build that feature up. And then you've got the future stuff, and again, I say future, it could be mid to long term, so we're talking in the scale of a year or more. We want to have a decentralized governance model where that will govern the protocol, so people can help decide, the community will help decide what's important. What would be requirements for the protocol? What would be a fee? Like, should we turn on a fee where the network has a protocol fee that funds development? Because we don't accept outside funds at all this time. We've never accepted outside money to develop, besides maybe stuff I've self-funded, which I won't go into, but the community and the developers do spend a lot of time. So to get great work, sometimes you incentivize that. So will that happen? That's got to be decided by the community. It's not going to be decided by just me or our core team. So those things are important. So there's that part of the token that will come in some form. So it's got to be done right, though. And I think one thing we've reflected on a lot, especially over the last cycle, is some projects rushed into governance without the right framework, and it can really be, it can put them in a tough spot because things aren't prepared right or structured right. So that's why we're trying to do that slowly in a way that, people will be ready for, but also we got the best community culture where people are like, I love what I see and want to make it, contribute and make it better. So those are the main utilities. And of course, the fact that there's a token at all is going to avoid bots and spam on the network, because using the network and serving has a cost. So hopefully that answers that. It's a lot of information. We've written it all in that document too, for people who like to read.
Yeah, that was really helpful.
I,
Thanks. Appreciate you.
yeah, not only was it helpful, like I think you broke it down pretty easily where I can play it back and actually understand it. So my small brain can actually put it all together, you know?
Nah, man, you've got a bigger brain than you give yourself credit for, man. There's lots of, there's lots of Bens out there that probably struggle with that, but you're doing good.
Oh, man, I'm slacking today. There we are. There we go. I was trying to get to
Yeah,
that.
where's my sound effects, man?
I know. It was,
Oh.
I'm just not on my game today. I don't know what else to say. I'll do better. Promise I'll do better.
Think that's a signal that we probably have done a good length of a session, because it's probably getting late where you're at too. And what time is it over there, Danny? It must be the wee hours of the morning for you.
It's almost 10 o'clock for you, Danny, right?
Yeah, it's about 9:45.
Oh, yeah, not too bad.
Well,
Nice.
Danny, do me a favor. Have a bagel for me tomorrow, because that is the one thing I really miss from the East Coast. I was in Jersey for quite a while there, so yeah, there's some
man,
some things that's just not the same.
Yeah. Hopefully he can have. Do you have some pork roll on rye, man? That's something I've had
what?
many years ago. Pork roll. Do you guys ever have pork roll over in Jersey?
Taylor ham.
Oh man, you got to try that.
Danny's in New York. From his profile, he's in New York, but it's kind of crazy. Like once you cross over the bridge, it's like a little bit of a different world out there. But yeah, so you've had Taylor ham. Is that what you're saying? Pork roll?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it was
Wow.
like I had some really good friends from Jersey, and they all talked about it, and they're like, "We got to do this." And so, yeah, after a heavy night, we'd go to these diners and would try it out. And I was
You
like,
went to the diners.
okay.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it was cool, man. We go to the diners life, man.
Jersey diners, man. Jersey diners. And I'm sure you had some old lady come up to you and go, "Hey, hon, how can I help you?"
That's right. She was like, "Do you want some pie with your food?" I'm like, "Bro, it's breakfast time. I don't want pie now." Like,
oh, and like the insane menus. It's like you can get a ribeye or pancakes.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was like 24/7 everything. It was amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I do really miss that.
Yeah.
Here on the West Coast of the U.S., everybody's in bed by 10.
I know, right? Well, when you got kids, man, you just fall asleep where you're standing half the time, actually. At least I find sometimes I am.
I got a 3-week-old at home. I haven't slept in a little while.
Oh my god. Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you staying up too, Danny, with the questions and jumping in, man. It's good. Great to get the vibes, and hopefully I'll try and catch some of your streams you're doing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yep, you just got a sub, Danny, from me as well. So I'll definitely be checking it out, brother.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, I guess that's all the stuff from today for our chats and the stream. We covered a lot of bases, gave a lot of cool news coming through. Keep an eye out for our upcoming release, hopefully by the weekend. And yeah, if you're not sure where to go, I'll do the closing out. Action, have you got a song to exit with as well?
I mean, I will have one by the time you finish.
Yeah, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but just in case. So
just do it. Yep.
Yeah, we'll do it. So yeah, if it's not a long-winded one today, but if you want to check us out, definitely hop onto the main browser website for Mask, which is mask with a Q, maskbrowser.com. You can download the browser now. It's going to have the latest version every time. But if you download it and you do see another version come out, not soon after, once you install it, it'll always search for an update, and it will try and prompt you to update to the latest version. So try it out. You've got all the things on testnet now for free. Mask Premium, you do have to hold some tokens. So if you want to go do that, you can. And it's got a wallet that you put them in where it detects it, and it gives you some of those extra features, which is really cool. And we're trying to build that out all the time. And if you want to read more about us or chat with us, the best places to go are our knowledge base, which I mentioned earlier, docs.mask.ai. But jump into our channels. We're really lively with testers. We're always happy to help. If you get stuck trying to, turn something on in the browser and you need support, don't go through any unofficial channels. There's lots of scammers out there. We've seen recently it's kind of like a PSA I'll end with. There's lots of people trying to impersonate support. Please don't do anything outside our official channels. So if you want help with the browser, don't answer DMs. Hop into our Discord, which is discord.gg/mask. And you can open a ticket within the server, a secure ticket, which lets you speak to our user support crew. They're awesome. Hats off to them. They're always helping all different hours of the day and night and sitting there helping people through any issues they have. And that helps us get feedback too if there's things to fix. So hop in there. Be very careful out there. Don't answer any suspicious stuff. No, we aren't doing airdrops, and no, we don't have extra channels and things like that. It's just Discord and this here on X. Like and subscribe us for the real notifications on what's going on. And if you're a Telegram fan, we're on Telegram too, mask_AI. So you can hop in there and chat with us. But thanks again for your time into the evening, guys and gals in action. Thank you again for co-hosting, my man. Always a pleasure. And hey, one of your mates came on for a first and stood up on the mic. That was super cool, man. I love seeing that.
Yeah, I loved it too, man. That's the thing. Like with the way things are going, there's no way to break this down.